Hello everyone, Perry back again with another exclusive Collider interview at TIFF 2019. I'm very excited about this one. It is the team behind Guns Akimbo. I'm so excited for all of you, but as I was saying before we even started, I am a huge Deathgasm fan, and it's been a little too long since that movie came out, and I've just been eagerly awaiting your next project. So what was that time span between movies like? Was it about finding that important detail that got you the green light?
You know, working at McDonald's a bit, you know, doing odds, you know, on the streets. No, I mean, it's crazy because it actually doesn't feel like that long for me, because the gestation period for Guns Akimbo has been, I mean, after the Deathgasm tour, I pitched Guns Akimbo to these guys. Like, I had a 2-page like outline or something, and they're like, "Have you got a script?" I'm like, yeah, why not? And then I pumped out a first draft in 2 weeks. So pretty much as soon as Deathgasm wrapped up, I've been loosely working on this, as well as some other pitching for like dozens of other projects and writing other things. But I guess it has been quite a while. I don't understand, you know, there's directors that manage to do like 2 movies a year or something. How does that work? Like, that's insane.
I don't know how,
I don't think that like most people do know like how long it takes to make a film. Like because actually like the obviously shooting time is generally very, very short, but like most of the time, like Kill Your Darlings, the director had been trying to get that going for 7 years, like that, and that's not even like that long. Like, you know, it takes time. Yeah,
it really does. So when you're putting together a script like this is a super ambitious second feature. So are you kind of red flagging concerns? Like, I want to put that in the script now, but someone might be worried about that later when we're getting financing?
No, I mean, I don't really self-censor myself in that respect. And yeah, there was a lot of stuff that did have to get lost just because of we didn't have enough time to do it all. Like the Nick's Coke Den massacre was originally in a mall, so that would have been a whole different thing with like cops. She wasn't just killing mall people, but we flagged pretty soon that was extremely problematic, and so we had a killing like Coke. People, working in a Coke factory because, you know, they're expendable. They're not human beings. They can die because they're bad people. But at the same time, there was this whole other thing about a lift and like, and there was a whole other floor of people getting killed, and then the final scene actually happens on a rooftop, and she like runs away, and there's like bullets whizzing past, and she slow-mo flips and falls in this car, and it all got sort of truncated into what it was, which you know felt like still more than enough.
It feels like an idea with some franchise potential, so keep some of those in your back pocket, just in case.
Yeah, there was that cool flip that, I don't know if you remember, like there's, the splits. She did the splits and like shoots 2 guys in the dick at the same time. We probably had enough dick stuff already.
Guys, I can do the splits. Let's show it off.
Oh yeah, they did. We found it very quickly. You did splits, and I was like, you definitely
gotta
do that.
There are so many badass frames of just the 2 of you. I know it's probably super vain, but if I were one of you, I would freeze frame something and just blow it up because it looks incredible.
I part of the fun is like just getting to look. I mean, yeah, Miles isn't good at it. That's what's great. That's why I kind of could believe myself in this role, was that like he's a very reluctant action person. Like he doesn't really, he wants to run away. Running away is the main instinct, and he only kind of gets to fight really the end. But I think I get some reflected cool off just like being on screen with Samara and her character, because her character is a badass.
I have to thank my stunt double. She was so amazing and made me look really, really cool.
Yes, you do. And also just like your experience doing this over and over. We were talking a little while back. It's like you have great range, but you've definitely carved out a part in the industry for yourself, just being like a badass leading lady on screen, and I'm loving it.
That's so nice.
I wanted to ask you guys what the biggest difference was between your first impression of the story after reading the script for the first time and then the final product, because there's so many visual elements that just go into the style and the tone and everything. Did you get exactly what Jason was going for right from the start?
Got a lot of it. Like there was really great descriptions in the script of like, you know, I can't remember, like there was a bullet, the camera is like the point of view of a bullet going in someone's head and then like ricocheting out again, and like there was a, there was a bunch of very, very cool like Yeah, remember the mobile phone camera thing we did? There was a thing that was awesome that like, so I have a sensor. I basically had a little thing, like a mic pack strapped to my chest, which had one of our camera operators' phones inside it. And that phone obviously has a gyroscope in it, which was then synced to the camera. So that when I roll, the camera rolls in its cage in exactly the same way. And so that's why some of those like disorienting shots, and I was just like, that was my main thing, was like looking through the script. I was like, this is awesome. Can we do this? Because I was like, he's written like car chases and explosions on every page. And so it was more a case of like what I was delighted by was like from reading the script to then being on set was like how practical a lot of it was, and how like we were able to really have Samara sitting on a motorbike, which was it sitting through the windscreen of the car with my face next to the wheel. Like a lot of that was there for real, and that was awesome.
That is incredible. Speaking of that kind of technology, is there anything else that really came in handy to make you just excel with your visuals? Any kind of piece of tech in there that we don't really know about or hear much about?
No, I mean, I think the AR rig that Dan was talking about was something very new for me. Like, and yeah, it let us spin the camera a lot and do some really cool things. And other than that, I mean, I'd never done anything with a Russian arm. Like, I'd never done any car chase stuff, so that was new for me, and especially on the really rainy night, I got to sit in the warm Russian arm car where everyone else is out in the rain, and I got out of the car and like water was up to here. I was like, why did I get out of the car? I'm going back in. But no, I mean it was great. Like I got really thrust into that because the car chase was like the second day of the shoot, and so I hadn't been in the director's chair for a few years, and then it's like, okay, second day car chase. But yeah, I mean, it all helps, you know, hopefully I've got some more tools in my belt for next time. Yeah.
I'd also say that there's some like, you know, the high-tech stuff is really cool, but sometimes what's more impressive on set is actually how good the low-tech stuff then is. Like a lot of the stuff on this, like there were a few of the running camera rigs for some of the chase sequences that were literally like, Ollie the Grip had made this like harness which was strapped to like 2 pieces of scaffolding which had a camera on the end which could just like be attached to me basically. So but it wasn't, there's nothing like, there's no crazy technology in there. It's just like grips being really clever and like strapping cameras to stuff.
Was there any kind of almost like a happy accident or something that went completely wrong, but something even better than you originally anticipated came out of it?
Oh man, there must have been.
Yeah, I feel like
there must have been.
Was.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, there always is.
We did the impromptu car stunt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Your rental
Yeah,
car?
with my rental car, which I thought it really worked. I think because like
it's
when
great.
if that cop just shot and you were just running
And I
on
was
the
running
street,
away.
it
Yeah,
wouldn't have,
you sort of don't believe
but
that.
because
why
you
did
like
miss?
sort of dodged on that car. Yeah, because that was something I asked the stunty to do just on the day. I'm like, could you just get Mark, Dan's stunt double, can he just like roll around on the car? And they just like looked at me, looked at each other like, yeah. And I mean, they would have been fully in their rights to say, fuck off, this is dangerous, do not do this. And now they just, the only problem was no one wanted to use their car. And I had a rental and I'm like, okay, use my rental. He did like a rehearsal and like, you know, Mark's not a big guy. I'm like, he'll be fine. Dented the hell out of the car, like scratched it all up. I'm like, oh shit, were we rolling? Nah. So we had to do another one because they'd already damaged it. And yeah, then we you know, fortunately it was under the producer's account and I wasn't responsible. So but there's some great sort of just like ad lib. Like I mean, I remember like originally Dane's character was a skinhead and he was like I used my last bullet on Captain White Power there, and then we turned him to like a more of a punk. And that line doesn't work. And I think Sam, you were like, what about Sid Dickless? And like, I'm like, yes. Let's go with that.
There was a few, like, but I also feel like that is like weirdly the experience of almost every day on set is like, you plan and you plan and you plan and then you get there and like something else will happen alongside it, and that's when it's really fun. Like you're always like, yeah, you're just like discovering something every day. I mean, like, yeah, Rhys Darby's like improvisation of like the Cypress Hill line, which wasn't not scripted and now became like a very big part of our soundtrack as well. Like there's stuff like that which I feel like, and that's what's great about you as well, is that you're like, you are open to that stuff happening on set, and like a lot of directors can sort of be freaked out by stuff changing, whereas Jason is like very much like embraces everybody's ideas.
Especially because he wrote it as well.
Yes, that's you're very egoless about your script.
I think it's good to be fluid and getting, you choose the right people, but also like, you have to trust in them to take it. Like, as a writer, you can only write a character like so far, I reckon. There's my sort of theory personally. And then when an actor takes on that character, they give it a life of its own and take it places that you would never imagine. And that's great. And it enhances the film. And you have to sort of lose ownership of it a little bit.
It's nice to hear that you were so fluid about it, because when I watch a movie like this, not knowing what goes on behind the scenes, I just see such a specific style, and I imagine you have to plan everything to a T. If something falls apart, I'd be afraid.
There's definitely some intricate planning, especially around the stunt stuff and the cast stuff. It's all very storyboarded, but at the same time, things go wrong. You have to adapt. Like we had. Our Nix's car broke down almost every time. We only had one car, and like there was all this stuff that at any moment it could have gone horribly wrong, but we improvised, and I think that's the cool thing about working with. And you were talking about the cocaine the other day, like snorting the cocaine, and then I thought I'd have a go like. When she's snorting coke off the Uzi.
It's vitamin C.
Yeah. We keep the good stuff for the parties. But like, and I thought I could have a go at doing it, and I tried snorting it, and it made me almost puke and die in front of the whole crew, who mocked me relentlessly. And then someone like pointed out that no nostril was seen in the shot. You can just get a little vacuum cleaner, at the top of the dollar bill or whatever, and then that's just as good. And then
there's only one where I get my face smashed into a pile.
That did not look pleasant. You really had to.
But it's vitamin C powder, so you're healthier and your immune system is better
I don't know
because
if
of it.
I should take vitamin C powder.
So that's how I keep from getting myself sick at film festivals. I just smash
You
my
just-
face
yeah,
into
yeah,
a
just
pile
like
of
grind
vitamin
up
C.
some
Vitamin C. Just fucking.
Not going to start doing that, but it did remind me of a would you rather question for you.
Go for it.
Would you rather have to fake sneeze or fake vomit in the scene?
Fake vomit 100% of the time.
Really?
Fake sneezing's hard. I
Yeah.
feel like fake sneezing is a really hard thing to do. Fake, do you do a little one?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. I thought I heard you do a little fake sneeze over there. I thought
I've got dad sneezes. When I sneeze, everyone hears it. That's shocking.
Yeah.
It's normally like a really lovely soup.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's always just like a
nice.
vegetable soup or something.
Yeah, it's great.
And I feel like vomiting is something. I was going to say vomiting is something I've done more than sneezing, which is definitely not true. But yeah, I feel like that's an easier thing to act, certainly.
Would you rather have enough time and not enough money, or enough money and not enough time?
Oh, so it's I think time. I think because it all comes down to time. Like it's all just like that. That's the thing about film shoots that isn't apparent to everyone. Is that it's like basically it's a ticking clock, and the light, you're losing light and all this stuff. So yeah, definitely time. I think money is important, but. Yeah.
You can overcome that.
Yeah, you can overcome it.
But I also think that like the reality is that you will not have both things at the same time. You will not have enough money, and so you will not have enough time. Whereas I think the first thing money gets you is more time generally. So it's a weird, But so when you're on this situation, we just didn't. Most films like. Since leaving Potter, we don't have enough of either. But like, it always gets. I also like find it interesting because like on Potter, we also obviously had all the money in the world and all the time in the world, but it actually like doesn't. Those films were amazing and I love doing them, but it isn't as much of a necessary as an advantage as I think some. I often talk to directors and I'm just like, actually, you have to be so much more decisive because you haven't got the luxury of time. I think the luxury of time and money just buys you the luxury of not having to make a choice right now. Right. And so often the period of like deciding stuff gets like, oh, we'll work it out later. And actually, I think when you have less of that, you are just much more focused because you have to be.
Gets the creative juices flowing in a different kind of way too.
And there's like a real sort of urgency. Yeah.
This question came up in another interview that I did, and I was surprised I hadn't thought about this too much, that when you're part of an ensemble, you get to observe other actors work all the time. But as a director, you don't really get that opportunity. So if you could be a fly on the wall on another director's film, what director would you choose?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Currently working or not, or just like all
Alive
time?
or Dead?
Anything, yeah.
Okay.
The last answer I got was Hitchcock, so pick anyone you want.
Man,
Well,
I think
had films,
it's hard. Really, I mean, I think Kubrick, just because I hear so many mad stories about behind the scenes, and you hear about him doing like 100 takes of someone picking up a fork or something, and I'm like, firstly, I want to know how does he manage to convince his producers to give him like 100 takes of like this like fork picking up, like without getting into a fist fight, because I do like 3 takes and I've got them like literally like grabbing my shoulders. But also like, you know, I mean, obviously a genius, but like I just love to see the way he worked and the way his mind operated.
I heard a story once about him, and I don't know like if this is verifiable or true, that he like had worked he'd worked 6 days in a week, and he wanted to work the 7th day, and was told by his ADs, was like, you can't, we all need a day off, you have to give everyone a day off. And so he apparently got in like an entirely new crew for the 7th day of filming, and then just resumed with the other crew on Monday. Again, I don't know if that's true, but I was told that by an old AD in England, which is my version of gospel truth.
Yeah, I can't imagine that even being worth it to kind of regain your footing in that foundation.
I guess he's just like, no, I'm in the zone, man. I don't want to stop making this film.
I mean, the fact is, I guess he was such a genius at that point, and so respected that he could actually make those demands.
Yeah, I'm always like fascinated by that. Of like when you hear about actors who have like crazy demands, I always want to know like, what was the first film you did where you were like, I can get crazy now. I can start asking for some truly crazy stuff. Yeah.
I got the wrap-up sign, and I did want to end on this question just because I think that, you know, this is an extreme stylized situation, but we're in a world where we have our heads buried in our phone, and we have reality TV and competitions like that, like in our face 24/7. So just for fun, if you could be in a reality TV show yourself, what would you choose and why?
Oh. Does this assume that I have the skills to get into whatever reality TV show I want, or do I have my current set of skills?
Considering the fact that my choice is Chopped, and I am a shit cooker.
Right. Okay. So that's
what whatever you want.
I'm going with Chopped or MasterChef or Cutthroat Kitchen, because that's
you're
fun.
not a good
Terrible cook.
So one day we'll face off against each other, and it'll be like an even level there.
A non-chef edition of Chopped.
They should do that.
Just like, I would love that.
I can't do it, but I'd love to be on RuPaul's Drag Race.
This is a good choice.
I was trying to pitch my own reality TV show called Tethered, and it's like what you do is you get two completely different people, like some alt-right racist and a Black Lives Matters person, tether them together for a week, and just it's totally awful. It's totally awful. Either that or Monkey Chainsaw Island.
Monkey Chainsaw
What is that?
It's just you get some monkeys on an island with some chainsaws.
It's everything you just said.
Are you serious?
I think he's just pitching a show. This show doesn't exist.
Like, what? The other one that was the pitch, and that was the real deal.
I like that we live in a world where Monkey Chainsaw Island may exist, maybe in Japan somewhere.
Like there was, I feel like you might have also just like pitched your next movie or the sequel to this.
Yeah,
which could be Tethered.
I just want to tether like assholes together and just see what happens. See them
make
beat
like
each
a
other.
spiritual sequel to us.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense. All right, I have to say goodbye, but thank you guys so much for your time today. And I want to let everybody out there know, Guns Akimbo, do keep an eye out for it. And if you haven't seen it yet, go check out Deathgasm while you wait for it. Do not leave this video without liking and sharing it, and stay tuned. We're going to have more TIFF 2019 coverage coming your way real soon.